Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Tilila aha Allah sama lam yulad lam yatilahu tufa ahad.
Great job, sister. Let's recite a loud salawat for Sister Zainab. MashaAllah, sister. Thank you so much for that beautiful recitation. Now I would like to welcome Sister Alina Raza. She will be also doing another short recitation for us. And let's please recite a loud salawat.
Assalamu alaikum. Today I'll be reading a quote about Imam Ali. Imam Ali once said, "O people, try to be honest for Allah. He is the helper of honest people. Avoid telling lies since it will ruin your faith. Know that honest people are on the verge of nobility and honor, while liars are on the verge of collapse and ruin." Another quote Imam Ali once said was, "Fear the sin you commit in secret, because the witness of the sin is the judge himself." Salawat.
Okay, and now last but not least, we have Sister Sakina Raza, and she will be giving a short speech on the life of Imam Ali alayhi salam. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum. Today I'm going to talk about Imam Ali. Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib al-Islam holds a revered and central position in Islamic history and theology. Esteemed as the cousin and son-in-law of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. For us Shia Muslims, the first Imam appointed as the Prophet's successor. His life is a tapestry of devotion, courage, and wisdom deeply interwoven with the early years of Islam. Ali was born inside the sacred sanctuary of the Kaaba in Mecca around 600 AD, in an event unparalleled in Islamic history, giving him his exceptional status in Islam. From his youth, Ali was deeply involved in the struggles and triumphs of early Islam. He is celebrated for his bravery, notably protecting the Prophet during the perilous night of Hijrah, the migration from Mecca to Medina, by sleeping in Muhammad's bed to deceive the Quraysh who tried to kill the Holy Prophet. His marriage to Fatima, the Prophet's daughter, further cemented his integral role in Muhammad's life, making him both a trusted, confident, and a beloved family member. Imam Ali's contributions were in the military, administrative, and spiritual realms. He was a great warrior in battles that were so important to the survival and spread of Islam, including the battles of Badr, Uhud, and Khaybar. His eloquence, wisdom, and profound knowledge of the Quran and Islamic law made him a wonderful source of guidance for Muslims, earning him the title of Gate to the City of Knowledge by the Prophet Muhammad. After the death of the Prophet and subsequent passing of the first three caliphs, Ali was chosen as the fourth caliph of the Muslim community. His reign, 656 through 661 AD, was marked by justice, piety, and efforts to return to the true spirit of Islam. However, it was also a period of internal strife, culminating in his death at the mosque in Kufa, Iraq. Many miracles of Imam Ali alayhi salam. Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib al-Islam is a figure of immense reverence, and his miracle signified this: the gate of Khaybar. During the Battle of Khaybar, a fortress held by a Jewish tribe proved particularly difficult for the Muslim forces to penetrate. Imam Ali, despite having an eye infection, lifted the massive gate of the fortress single-handedly, using it as a bridge for the Muslim army to enter. After the battle, it took several men to lift what Ali had lifted by himself. This incident is often cited as a miraculous display of divine strength. Knowledge of the unseen. Imam Ali is attributed with ilm al-ghaib, knowledge of the unseen, a miraculous form of insight that allowed him to speak on matters hidden from the human eye. This included prophesying future events, understanding the deepest spiritual truths, and providing guidance that could only come from a divine source. Salawat.
نکلا ہے جنازہ کوئی اللہ کے گھر سے نکلا ہے جنازہ کوئی اللہ کے گھر سے افلاک میں ایک شور ہے ماتم کے اثر سے نکلا ہے جنازہ کوئی اللہ کے گھر سے افسوس کے مسجد میں نمازی گیا مارا افسوس کے مسجد میں نمازی گیا مارا کچھ کم نہیں یہ حشر قیامت کے اثر سے شبیر کو یاد آ گئی خود اپنی سکینہ شبیر کو یاد آ گئی خود اپنی سکینہ زینب کو ہٹایا گیا جب لاش پدر سے عباس ذرا زینب مضطر سے خبردار عباس ذرا زینب مضطر سے خبردار فریاد میں ہٹ جائے نا چادر کہیں سے ہاں بھول نہ جانا انہیں کوفے کے مکینوں ہاں بھول نہ جانا انہیں کے مکینوں گزریں گی یہ شہزادیاں اس راہ گزر سے نکلا ہے جنازہ کوئی اللہ کے گھر سے افلاک میں ایک شور ہے ماتم کے اثر سے بر محمد وعلی محمد صلوات. بار دیگر نعرہ صلوات.
فاتحہ. زخمی ہوئے جو حیدر صفدر نماز میں زخمی ہوئے جو حیدر صفدر نماز میں شمشیر ظلم چل گئی سر پر نماز میں جبینے منور نماز میں سرتا قدم لہو سے ہوئے تر نماز میں صدمہ ہوا یہ سن کے صغیر و کبیر کو زخمی کیا نماز میں کل کے امیر کو مسجد میں آئے شبر و شبیر نہا گئے اس حال سے علی و ولی آئے وا نظر سرتا قدم تھا جسم مبارک لہو میں تر لپٹے گلے سے دوڑ کے کہہ کے پدر پدر دامن سے دونوں خونے جبھی پہنچتے رہے گردن کے منہ کی خود شاہدی پوچھتے رہے 21ویں شبائی کے موت آئی ہے ستم دردہ ہوا علی کو سوا کرب دم بدم تکیے سے اٹھ سکانا سر ایسا بڑھا ورم فرمایا جس شب کو چراغ سحر ہیں ہم فرمایا جس شب کو چراغ سحر ہیں ہم شہزادیوں نے ماتم شاہ عرب کیا حضرت نے سب کو بہر وصیت طلب کیا فرما چکے جو سب کو وصیت امام دین عباس کو گلے سے لگایا بلائیں لی بولے سوا ہیں عمر میں شبیر
شک نہیں
ان کا رہے خیال مگر میرے محجبی ان کا رہے خیال مگر میرے
محجبی
ان میں نہ ہو قصور وفا کے جو کام ہیں ہوشیار تم حسین سے اب ہم
تمام ہے
ہوشیار تم حسین سے اب ہم
تمام ہے
عباس سے یہ کہتے ہی چپ ہو
گئے علی
تکبیر غش میں حیدر کرار نے
کہی
زینب ہوئی یتیم قضا مرتضیٰ نے کی واہ حسرتا کہ جان بدن سے
نکل گئی
دونوں جہاں کے مالکوں مختار میں
گئے
آئی ندا کے حیدر کرار
مر گئے
دونوں جہاں کے مالکوں مختار میں گئے آئی ندا کے حیدر کرار
مر گئے
زخمی ہوئے جو حیدر صلوات
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وخاتم النبيين أبي القاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين ولعن الله أعداء الله ظالميهم من الأولين والآخرين أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في كتابه المبين إن الله مع الذين اتقوا الذين هم محسنون صلوات. So, this morning, we marked the commemoration of the point in time, hundreds of years ago, 1,405 years ago, in fact, where Imam Ali alayhi salam, the first Imam, the first man to accept Islam, in fact, the first one that was created from Nur Muhammadi after Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, was struck upon his head from behind. And it's a moment that we commemorate this time after everyone was done with their Laylatul Qadr Amal. Tears must have been flowing from our eyes as we heard the Fajr Adhan, thinking that when Imam Ali alayhi salam heard this adhan, he went to go wake up the very man who would do it to him. He went to go wake up the very man that he knew was going to kill him. Why? Why does Imam Ali do this? Is this not tantamount to suicide? If you knew that something was going to kill you, something was going to harm you, why would you go and make that happen? Because we talked about Imam Ali alayhi salam on Thursday as Imam al-Muttaqeen. He has so much taqwa, right? He knows the will of Allah so well and adheres to it to such an extent that his will is nothing. Did Imam Ali alayhi salam not want to live? Did Imam Ali alayhi salam not want to guide the people for longer? Did Imam Ali alayhi salam not want to protect his family from what would come afterwards? No, in fact he did. However, what he wanted was nothing compared to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted. So, we were going over from Nahj al-Balagha, his khutbah Muttaqeen, in which he, again, we say that he is our Imam, right? And yet we also say he is Imam al-Muttaqeen. Now the question then arises, are we among the Muttaqeen? If we say that he's our Imam, and he is Imam al-Muttaqeen, that should, by transitive property or something, make us Muttaqeen. Is that enough? No, we must understand what this taqwa is, right? Why is it that Allah is saying in this verse that He is with, verily Allah is with those who do taqwa, right? Who are God-fearing, who are God-conscious, and those who do good. Now, we talked at length about what he said about the muttaqeen, what makes someone a muttaqi, right? What is it that Hammam was asking him, that explain it to me as if they're right in front of me. I want to picture this. And ma'rifat only comes from the Ahlul Bayt. So, Imam Ali alayhi salam does just that. The point that we left off at was where Imam Ali alayhi salam said that he does good to others, right? Even if they wrong him. He treats them justly, correctly. It doesn't necessarily mean that someone's wronging you. They do the wrong thing. And you stand for it. Thank you, Jazakallah. And you stand for it and you're like, no, this is fine. No, in fact, who was more wronged? Who was more wronged in our history than Imam Ali alayhi salam at every step of the way? Let's go through the journey of his life, right? And this time I'm going to highlight the other part of that surah. We always say that Imam Ali alayhi salam, Imam al-Muttaqeen, we understand that taqwa for him was something that we couldn't even imagine. In fact, as he described it to Hammam, I very much recommend that everyone go to Nahj al-Balagha and find this sermon of the Muttaqeen. In some translations of Nahj al-Balagha, it will be sermon, I think, 193. And see what it is that the Imam wants from us, his followers. But there was the other part of that verse. Allah is with those who have taqwa and the muhsinun, those who do good. But if I ask most people, even the lovers of the Ahlul Bayt, what do you know of Imam Ali? The lovers of the Ahlul Bayt, a lot of times, the first thing that they will tell me, Imam Ali alayhi salam, great warrior. Greatest warrior. No one could beat him in a battle. I'd be like, okay, what else? What else do you know about him? Imam Ali alayhi salam protected all of Islam and protected Rasulullah. Granted, definitely. What else do you know about Imam Ali alayhi salam? Imam Ali alayhi salam was the first Imam. Why do we have this one note picture of the Imam, the greatest of our Imams, the very first of our Imamat, right? Why is it as if we either have this image of Imam Ali alayhi salam in the battlefield where no one can touch him, right? Or we have this image of Imam Ali alayhi salam who is praying constantly and supporting Rasulullah and Islam. Where is the full picture of the Imam? And this is what I talked about in the beginning. Ma'rifat, recognition of the Imam. If we don't have it for Imam Ali alayhi salam, we don't have it for Imam Hassan alayhi salam. Do we have it for Imam Hussein alayhi salam? What do we know about Imam Hussein before he went to Karbala? What do we know about his life? Who he was, how he was, what he told us, what he taught us. A lot of times when people will talk about Imam Hussein, they will say, this is what he was like as a child when he was playing with Rasulullah. And this is what he was like at the end of his life when he was in Karbala. There are decades in the middle. What happened in those decades? What kind of trials and tribulations did he go through? And this is what, at least for Imam Ali alayhi salam, we should not have any of these questions. So I want to walk through a few aspects of his life that show that yes, definitely he was among, he was not among, he was the leader of the muttaqin. And definitely the muhsinun as well, right? And so Allah, according to the Quran, Allah was therefore with Imam Ali alayhi salam throughout his life. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So, Imam Ali alayhi salam was born where? Yes, go ahead, Bismillah. Yes, he was born inside the Kaaba. The story is famous, right? This is the one thing that everyone will say, yes, Imam Ali alayhi salam, when it was time, his mother was granted entrance into the Kaaba. Through the doors? No. Allah opened a door for them. A crack within the wall opened. Imam Ali was born within the Kaaba. He comes out, the first thing that he sees is Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He opens his eyes to Rasulullah and hears the adhan in his ears from Rasulullah. Tilawat al-Quran from Rasulullah. This is the beginning of Imam Ali alayhi salam. So, there should be no doubt in our minds that Imam Ali alayhi salam will be the best, right? And yet then why is it that there were those who didn't grant him that? Throughout his life, Imam Ali alayhi salam is at the forefront. He's 8 years old. Rasulullah says, the time for Islam has come. Allah has told me that the Muslims will have to recite this kalma. Bibi Khadija recites the kalma, right? Who's next? Imam Ali alayhi salam. And yet, they'll say, oh, well, Imam Ali alayhi salam, he was 8 years old, so he's not the first man to recite the kalma. He's not the first man to become Muslim. The first man was so-and-so. Okay. So you'll say that it's not worth it for him, right? He wasn't man enough at that age to say that he's the first man to recite the kalma because he was 8. Then tell me, who was man enough at the Dawat Zul Ashira? At Dawat Zul Ashira, Rasulullah gathers. This is still when Rasulullah hasn't made it very public. He's making it known that Islam has come, that he is the Prophet, but quietly. First he starts with those who are close to him, right? So he goes to the Quraysh, the families, his uncles, and he says to them, I will invite you, right? Hazrat Abu Talib, in fact, Imam Ali alayhi salam's father, who was raising Rasulullah, invites them all to his house. And Rasulullah says to them, I have something important to talk to you about. The first day they spend feasting. The second day they spend feasting. The third day, finally, they're willing to hear him out. I mean, let's be honest, sometimes when the iftar is in front of you, no one's listening to me, right? The iftar is right there. But they're finally willing to hear him out. And Rasulullah says what? The first one to say that you will stand and support me will become my successor, my wali, my protector, my guardian. And out of all of these old men, we're saying that it needs to be an old man. It needs to be a man who is the first person to become Muslim. Out of all of the old men, right? Respected elders. Who among them stood up? Imam Ali stands up. Rasulullah says, it's like, you ever been in class and there's that one kid who always knows the answer? And so the teacher's like, okay, anyone except for him, can someone tell me the answer? And he raises his hand. And you're like, okay, nobody? He raises his hand again. Still nobody? All right, go ahead and tell us the answer. And Dawat Zul Ashira, this is 8, maybe 10-year-old Imam Ali alayhi salam in a group of old, respected men. Respected. The Quraysh were the leaders of Mecca. It's not as if Imam Ali alayhi salam is saying this among just like random people. No, these were the big shots of Mecca. And yet, no one among them is standing up. No one is man enough to accept at that point that they will support Rasulullah in his mission. They do afterwards, some of them, and some of them are cursed in the Quran. But Imam Ali at every step was the first and the foremost. Yeah, we're not willing to recognize him. So, then what does Allah do? Allah says that if you're not willing to recognize him, then I will make it so that you cannot recognize anyone but Ali. So, as each battle takes place, this is what we know of Imam Ali, right? As each battle takes place, highest confirmed kills, the only one left on the battlefield as everyone has run away, the only one protecting Rasulullah. Battle after battle, this happens. His bravery is renowned, is unparalleled. The bravest of the Arabs, the pagans, they come against him. And he, what? Does he kill them in cold blood? No. No. He fights with honor throughout. They spit upon his face. He says, okay, get up. This is taqwa. This is taqwa. I don't want 1 ounce of my own will, of my own desire to taint this act that I'm doing for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I want it to be purely for Allah. So if you spit on my face and I have become angry, then perhaps 1 ounce of this will be for my anger, and that's not okay. No, you get up. Let's start over. I mean, this man prolonged his life for what? A few seconds. Imam Ali alayhi salam could not be stopped, right? Jibreel comes down as brings Rasulullah the sword, Zulfiqar. Imam Ali's sword breaks. And then Jibreel says, there's no youth like Ali. There's no sword like Zulfiqar. This was a discerning blade. We talk about Imam Ali alayhi salam as if he went into the wars and battles and there was no stopping him. And no. The only ones that Imam Ali alayhi salam took down were the ones who were never going to support Islam. There was no salvation for them. In fact, death was a better salvation because honestly, they would have gotten themselves a worse place in Jahannam if they kept living. This was Zulfiqar. This was Imam Ali alayhi salam. But all we know of him is that he was brave and he was a warrior and he lifted Khaybar with 2 fingers. The doors that not 40 men could move, Imam Ali alayhi salam moves himself. The flag bearer of Rasulullah's army, right? This was Imam Ali alayhi salam because the people of that time needed to be told that if you want someone who is going to be a worthy leader, you should see the one who is leading you into battle. You should see the one who is leading the charge. You should see the one who is leading every aspect of what you believe your religion is. So if they say that, this person, a great commander, a great general, etc., conquered all of the world for Islam, well, who started that? Who was the first among them? Who was the one who did it right? Who was the one who did it with the correct reason and intention? Imam Ali alayhi salam, right? So they said, when Rasulullah passed, after Rasulullah made it clear, time after time, right? If I'm your Mawla, Ali is your Mawla. If you believe in me, you believe in Ali. Imam Ali and I are like Harun and Musa. That's how it is. I'm like Harun, Ali, I'm like Hazrat Musa and Ali is like Hazrat Harun, except that there's no prophet after me. So he's the one who's going to guide you. Don't go astray like the people of Hazrat Musa did. He goes away for what? Hazrat Musa, Allah says, let me test your people. 10 extra days. Spend 10 extra days up here, right? Not even 2 weeks. In 10 days, these people go from worshipping Allah, right? Who had saved them from slavery and the oppression of the Pharaoh and split waters for them. They've seen so many miracles, right? They go from obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to worshipping a golden calf. Was Hazrat Harun not there? But they wouldn't listen to him. That's what it was, right? We would rather do what we want than what we know Allah wants. And we perceive some benefit in this world, and so we forget the hereafter. This is the opposite of taqwa, right? This is the antithesis of taqwa. And so, then we see that when Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam passes, what were some of the things that were said about Imam Ali alayhi salam? I mean, if you're picking a leader, right? They do so in such a time when they know that he won't be there. Why? Because he's actually busy burying the Prophet of Islam He's actually busy taking care of that family. And yet, what are we doing? While he's distracted with the one thing that is perhaps going to grant all of us salvation, let's go instead take over this religion? No, this empire. Let's take over this empire that Rasulullah gave us. And what did he ask in return for that empire? Rasulullah said that, what do I ask of you for all that I've done for you? Nothing. Illa mawaddata fil qurba. Nothing except closeness, right? To those who are close to me, right? Love for those who are dear to me. That's all I ask. Nothing more than that. And yet, who was more dear to Rasulullah than Imam Ali, who he raised as if he was his own son? Who is more dear to him than the one who slept in the bed during Hijrah while all of the people came to kill Rasulullah, and he protected him even while sleeping? And then brought his daughter to Medina with him. And then fought for Islam throughout his entire life. No, but we want this empire. We want something from this world. And so, they turn against Imam Ali alayhi salam. They decide that, you know what, we need to pick someone older. Why? Yeah, well, I mean, Rasulullah said all of that, right? But Imam Ali alayhi salam is too young. We hear this argument again. We discredit the youth again. First one to say the kalma, right? The first man? No, he was 8 years old. We don't really count him. Okay, first one to stand up when Rasulullah says, who will support me? He was young though, and he loved Rasulullah. Okay, so loving Rasulullah to that extent is now the bad thing? Right? This is bias now? Instead of iman? No, this is iman. Loving and following Rasulullah is the entire basis of our religion. Right? He's the one who told us that Allah exists. He is the one who gave us the entire Quran. He is the one who told us about everything that we should and shouldn't do. Oh no, but it doesn't count. Okay, so he doesn't count because he's too young. What's another one? Actually, this is one that's not often talked about. They say one of the reasons that they wouldn't take Imam Ali alayhi salam seriously was because he smiled too much. Okay, at this point they're just nitpicking, right? But it brings a question to our minds. We know Imam Ali alayhi salam as the one who was strong, a warrior, who was absolute in his faith, right? Who was so dutiful in his worship. Do we know him as the one who did good for others and would smile and have good akhlaq? Or do we know him as the one who would kill all those who would oppose him? And this is why I said that we have this one-note image of the first Imam alayhi salam. And this is sad for us, not for Imam Ali. No, this is a tragedy that among even his followers and lovers, we don't understand who he was and how he was, what his character was. We don't understand how deeply he loved, right? Who thinks of Imam Ali alayhi salam as a very passionate person? No, but at every moment, the amount of respect that he showed for Bibi Fatima and the way that he was heartbroken when they came and they burned the door down and they kicked it down and his child was shaheed. And then when he was doing ghusl for Bibi Fatima salamullah alayha, he cried. He cried such a cry of anguish that none had heard anything like it before. And why? Because Bibi Fatima didn't even tell him that her ribs were broken for this long. For so many months. He didn't even know the pain that his wife had gone through. And he never married anyone while she was alive, right? This was the deep love that he had for Bibi Fatima salamullah alayha. And yet we don't talk about Imam Ali alayhi salam as one who loved so thoroughly. But he loved his people the same. In fact, there's a story that when Imam Ali alayhi salam was Khalif, there were people who Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. There were people who even in Kufa, where his seat of power was, they would curse at him. There was this one woman who would say, curses upon this Ali. He sent what? He sent my husband into battle. To some extent, we as people, right, flawed people, can understand this. I mean, this is the ruler of your kingdom. He sent your husband into battle, your husband died. Now you alone are having to take care of all of the children, right? There are 5 children, you can't even do it all on your own, but you have no one else to support you, right? So she says this, right? Curses upon him. It happened to be that Imam Ali alayhi salam with some of his companions was walking by. And so he stops and says, "Oh lady, I hear that you are in distress. Is there anything that I can help you with?" And she gives him her ordeal. "Oh, the Khalif Ali, he sent my husband into war, and then he was murdered by the enemies of Islam, and he died a hero. But what about me? What about his children? Who's going to take care of us now?" And he says, "What is it that you need?" She says that, "I need this much food. We have nothing to eat." He says to one of his companions, "Go and grab the food." And then he says, "What else is it that you need?" And she says, "What?" She says, "I need someone to watch the children for me while I do the work around the house." And so Imam Ali alayhi salam says, one of the companions, "Go watch these kids." No. Imam Ali alayhi salam plays with this woman's kids. Does he know her? Does he know these children? Are they family? No. This is how he took care of the people who were under his rule, under his khilafah. This was Imam Ali alayhi salam. The woman who was cursing him. And then as he left, the companions say, "Why didn't you tell her to stop cursing you? Why didn't you tell her that it was you, right? That she was cursing and that you helped her?" Imam Ali alayhi salam says, "I did not want for her to be ashamed in front of me." This is Imam Ali alayhi salam. This soft heart. Is this what we think of when we think Imam Ali alayhi salam? And this is the beauty of this man. Such that when we think of a warrior, we think someone who's strong, built, buff, right? Someone who's shredded. And yet, what was the physique of Imam Ali alayhi salam when he was a Khalif? They say that his bones would show. That's how thin his body was. His ribs would show. That's how frail it was. It looks as if he had trouble breaking bread. That was how hard the bread was. Also, how it seemed that he didn't even have this was the man who lifted the doors of Khaybar, and now he can't break bread upon his knee? No. See, we see that the muttaqin, as he described, they are these people. They are these people who live a very humble and simple life. And why did Imam Ali alayhi salam live like this? Because when it was time for his khilafah, he did not want a single person that was in his khilafah to be living a worse life than him. This was the adalat of Imam Ali alayhi salam. What was the adalat of Imam Ali alayhi salam? He says, going on in Khutbah Muttaqin, that a muttaqi is one who does not do any evil against someone who has harmed him. We don't exceed the limits, right? But what else does he say? He says that he is also one who does not sin in favor of the one who helps him. In fact, when one of the companions of Imam Ali alayhi salam, they have come. Muawiyah is spreading so much propaganda, even in the city of Kufa, right? He's spreading so much propaganda against Imam Ali alayhi salam. But when the companion comes to Imam Ali alayhi salam and says that, "Oh, my Imam, I've sinned, I've stolen." Imam Ali says, "So you admit to it?" He says, "Yes." "You know what the punishment?" "Yes, I do." This is a companion of his, someone who loves Imam Ali alayhi salam, one of his key supports in a time where the entire world is being turned against him. And what does Imam Ali alayhi salam say? "Okay, then we're going to cut off your fingers." The fingers are cut off. The man leaves. And the people outside, they say, again, like I said, Muawiyah's spies were in the city. They come, they bring him up for. This is what Imam Ali does this is what the Khalif Ali does to his supporters. Can you imagine what he's going to act like to those who aren't his supporters? He cut off this man's hand. And then this man says, "No, you don't understand. This was adala. I know that it was better for me to lose these fingers in this world than what would have happened to me in the akhirah if I didn't. In fact, he has saved me." And then he goes extolling Imam Ali. He talks about how great Imam Ali alayhi salam is. This was the loyalty that some of these people had to him. Those who knew, those who had the ma'rifat, right? Those who understood Imam Ali alayhi salam. This was their quality, right? And then those fingers, alhamdulillah, by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, are replaced. So then, if we have this new picture of Imam Ali as one who is soft-hearted, kind, cares so greatly for the people in his ummah as well as the people around him, then is it not conflicting the way that he died? There are those scholars, Western scholars, those from outside, even those who are Muslims, that will say things like, oh, well, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. And Ali ibn Abi Talib, he lived by the sword. There was no one who was a greater warrior than him. So of course it was going to be this way. I say no to each and every one of them. I say that you're missing the greatest aspect of Imam Ali alayhi salam. The truth is, you live in worship and then Allah grants you death in worship. This is the grandeur of Imam Ali alayhi salam. Muawiyah had spread such lies to the point that when the news spread that Imam Ali alayhi salam had been struck in Masjid Kufa, the people of Sham were saying, Ali in a masjid? How can this happen? Ali, we don't even know that he prays. You're telling me that he was in a masjid? We're talking about Imam al-Muttaqeen, the character that I described. But the propaganda was such that people were saying that we didn't even know that he prayed until he was struck upon his head in sujood. And like I said in the beginning, Imam Ali alayhi salam, in those moments, right, before he went to the masjid, as he hears the adhan, and as he goes in, is he confident? Does he go in, okay, well, this is finally the end of all the trials and tribulations. His life from the age of 8, even before that, has been nothing but trials and tribulations, difficulties upon difficulties for the sake of Islam, for the sake of a people that are turning against him. Imam Ali is saying, no, like I said, it was the purity of his intention, right? And he is nervous to meet Allah. So, as he has his iftar, Imam Ali alayhi salam goes to the house of his daughter Zainab. And like I said, his life was a simple and ascetic life. So she brings out food for him. She brings out food for him and she says, please, close your fast with me, right, in my home. So she brings out for him some milk, some bread, some salt, some things like this, right? Some water. Imam Ali alayhi salam says, that I will eat a simple meal. This is too much for me. Please take this away. Perhaps Imam Ali in this moment is thinking that you're trying to feed me all of these great things, but in moments, none of it will help me. In moments, I will be struck on my head. Or perhaps he is thinking that even in this last moment of my life, I will devote this to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I don't know what was in his mind, of course, I cannot fathom. But he says, no, just leave the salt and the water, that's all. This will be my suhoor. And so, of course, Bibi Zainab, she knows her father. She takes away the milk, she takes away the bread. He has his suhoor, and as he's leaving, even the chickens know. Even the birds know of what is to come. Perhaps they sense his agitation, his nervousness in meeting his Lord, in completing his mission. And so they all gather around him. And this is the soft heart of my Imam. He says, Zainab, please, if you can feed these chickens, then feed them after I'm gone. But if you cannot, then let them go. And Bibi Zainab at this point, she's distraught. Why is he talking like this? Why is it that my father is speaking as if he is about to leave? But Bibi Zainab knows. She has an idea. And yet her father leaves for the masjid. There will be no stopping him. And so he goes forth. And as he goes forth to the masjid, he sees a man sleeping upon his stomach. And he says to him that this is not what is best for you. The call for prayer is coming. Rise for prayer. Giving salvation to this man. One last chance to the man who is going to murder him. He's saying to him, you have one last chance to come to Allah. Pray. And you can be saved. But this man he has hidden behind him a sword that is poisoned with a poison that is so strong that when Imam Ali alayhi salam, he is in sujood and he sneaks up from behind him, you said lives by the sword. No, this is a cowardly attack from behind. But Imam Ali alayhi salam shows such beauty and bravery even in this moment. Not a flinch from him, no. As he knows what is coming to him, he continues to pray. In his sujood, he is struck upon the head. When he is struck upon the head, the pain is so much. He cries out, but what does he cry out? Does he cry out in pain? No, he cries out in victory. He says, Fustu bi Rabbil Kaaba, by the Lord of the Kaaba, where I was born, I am successful. Imam Ali was worrying to his last moment, will he be able to finish this mission from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And he knows in that moment that he is successful. He did not shy away from a single thing that Allah asked from him. And yet, was it a swift death? No, he's not even granted that. He has to be carried from one side by Imam Hussein, by another side by Imam Ali, Imam Hassan, by Muhammad bin Abdullah. Imam Ali, the strongest of men, who lifted the doors of Khaybar, cannot even lift his own feet to get back to the house. Imam Ali is being brought back by his sons. And what does the doctor say when they get there? They say the poison, it's too strong. There's no saving him at this point. We can just try to bring him comfort. What will bring him comfort? If you could just bring him a bowl of water. So the cry goes out in Kufa. In Kufa, the people say that the Khalif has been struck on his head. He has been poisoned. If you want to give him some comfort, bring a little bowl of milk. The people of Kufa bring little bowls of milk. The small children bring it. Everyone comes from their house with whatever milk they had to give a little something to Imam Ali alayhi salam. Imam Ali, what must he be thinking in this moment? That this entire city is coming to give me milk. But who will be there to give milk to my grandson Ali Asghar? Who will be there to bring a bowl of water to my Hussein? Will anyone be there for him when this entire city is here for me now? Imam Ali alayhi salam is giving his nasiyat. He's giving his will to all of his children. He's giving the will that, oh, you will follow Imam Hassan. The last thing that you will do, they bring in Ibn Muljam, the one who has attacked Imam Ali from behind, this cowardly attack, and they caught him. And Imam Ali says, don't be rough with him. He is in so much pain, but he worries about the man who has attacked him. Don't be so rough with him. Untie his ropes. They untie his ropes. He says to him, why have you done this? And Ibn Muljam admits to the fact that he did it for love of this world. He knows what will come to him next. But Imam Ali alayhi salam says to Imam Hassan at that moment, if I am to die, then it is your right to seek revenge and justice. But make sure that when you strike him only once as he struck me only once. You don't hurt him any more than that. That you don't mutilate his body. Yes, Imam Ali alayhi salam, the peace and blessings be upon you at this moment, but he struck you with a poison blade and you're not even giving him any pain. No, you say that strike him with a blow that is merciful to him. This is the mercy of Imam Ali. In this moment, Imam Hassan knows that what will happen will happen. And so everyone is given bay'ah to Imam Hassan. Everyone is told that Imam Hassan is going to be the Imam after you. Afterwards, little Abbas is crying. Why? Abbas? Abbas, is he a small child that he is crying? No, Abbas, he was the one that was called Qamar Bani Hashim when he was fighting in the war. This Abbas, the one who is strong and protects Imam Hussein, this Abbas is crying. Why is he crying? He goes to al-Baneen, mother. Everyone was given their hand in Imam Hassan's hand. But father has left me out, he has said nothing to me. So al-Baneen goes to Amir al-Mu'mineen and she says, "Oh Amir al-Mu'mineen, what has my son done to displease you?" Imam Ali says, "He has never displeased me. No, the reason that I haven't given his hand to Imam Hassan is because his hand belongs to someone else." He calls Imam Hussein. He puts Hazrat Abbas's hand in Imam Hussein's hand and says that this hand is yours. You will stand with him. You will support him. You will protect him in every way. Never deviate from him. Always be loyal to him. I prayed to Allah for you to be born for him. This is Imam Ali. In his last moments, he is worrying about what will happen to his children. The nasiyat has been given. All the things have been passed on. Imam Ali also knows the things that he did not want to pass on but will be passed on from him. The rope that was around his neck as he was dragged out of his house, that will be passed on to Zainab. The blow that was given to him while he was in sujood, that will be passed on to Hussein. The poison that is so strong, that will be passed on to his eldest son Hassan. There is no child of his that will be spared from misery. But Imam Ali says, فُزْتُ بِرَبِّ الْكَعْبَةِ لَعْنَةُ اللَّهِ عَلَى الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ. ماتم علی.
چھوڑ کے کرتی ہوئی بکائی علی کی لاش پہ رونے کو فاطمائی. پدر کی موت پہ روتی ہو آج پردے میں, تمہیں تو دینا ہے خطبے علی کے لہجے میں. پدر کی موت پہ روتی ہو آج پردے میں, تمہیں تو دینا ہے خطبے علی کے لہجے میں. سنا پہ چڑھتی ہوئی یاد اب ردائی علی کی لاش پہ رونے کو فاطمائی. بقیہ چھوڑ کے کرتی ہوئی بکائی علی کی لاش پہ رونے کو فاطمائی. بقیہ چھوڑ کے کرتی ہوئی بکائی علی کی لاش پہ رونے کو فاطمائی. اسیر مفلس و مظلوم کا سہارا گیا, اڑاؤ پاک یتیموں کا باپ مارا گیا. اسیر مفلس و مظلوم کا سہارا گیا, اڑاؤ پاک یتیموں کا باپ مارا گیا. زمین لرزی مسجد سے جب صدا آئی علی کی لاش پہ رونے کو فاطمائی. بقیہ چھوڑ کے کرتی ہوئی بکائی علی کی لاش پہ رونے کو فاطمائی. بقیہ چھوڑ کے